shit.
Hightailed it out of there.
Are you crazy? Don't go between them! Go between them! Are you crazy?
Welcome to my home.
Good morning. Good morning. It is another glorious Saturday morning, and it's going to be the afternoon soon. So, we're going to be talking about everything that I'm going to be watching this afternoon. I want to know how you guys are doing. The stuff that I have on pre order, stuff that, because like Christmas wasn't like December is never really like a big time for me to order a ton of stuff because it's like giving presents to myself, and I just can't justify it. And then I also don't want to fight with the family. So I usually don't order a ton, but I got sucked into the sales. So we got some sales to talk about, and I did, so I got a few of the like the pre-orders, the stuff on my wish list, and that was just coming in. This just came in yesterday, and I did a whole review on it, but I loved it, absolutely loved it. Top notch Atmos in this. So Demolition Man, I picked up. And that was pretty much like the only thing I was like really like looking forward to in the month of December. But I did get sucked into the sale, so we're gonna dive into some of that. And there's some disc problems. We have two discs with issues. There's a disc replacement program, so I got that link for that. For shout. The Labyrinth had issues, so we're going to talk about that. And the Chronicles are the Riddick 4K had disc issues where they cut some parts out or they cut a scene out or something. It's just some nonsensical thing. We're going to dive into all that. Some also news about LG. LG is quitting selling or manufacturing 4K players, so that's something to talk about as well. But then we have all the new announcements, things I'm excited for. And good morning, fellas. I want to know what you're excited for. Let's dive into the chat. Normally we dive into some other stuff first, but let's talk to the chat first. Let's see. Good morning, Thomas. Go Army, beat Navy. Yeah, I'm not a sports guy, so I could care less. The only time I ever hear that is because my wife is a sports person, so she watches the game. I could care less, but yes, I do get the camaraderie. Let's see. Night 90. Morning, brother. Good morning, sir. Happy to be here live again. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm glad you're here. I would say that was me saying hello to everybody. And Thomas says, I just scored a huge 6-foot theater Demolition Man banner. Oh man, from a Facebook group. No idea where it'll go, but I had to snag it. It'll at least be displayed when I play my new 4K. Hell yeah, that's wicked cool. So I don't have anything like that, but in a heartbeat. So there is, and as you know, if you guys been hanging out with me for a while, two favorite movies, Leon, Fifth Element. But there is this and it's something crazy. Like the picture of it on eBay or wherever I saw it they had like giant like painter scaffolding to hang this thing from, and it was this foreign movie poster, but I think it was vinyl. I don't think it was like just a paper poster. I was trying to get something like that, but then like we're moving, and one, I don't have the room for any of that stuff here. So I have a lot of my posters, a lot of stuff I've been trying to get kind of in storage. So I have some original movie posters, and then several posters that I have to send off to get repaired. Because I don't know if you know this, but if you buy an original movie poster or something like that, you can spend thousands and thousands of dollars. But you can buy damaged or not so perfect original movie posters. And there are several people all across at least America that restore these things. And they actually, to the crazy extent where there have been posters I've seen that have been missing pieces, like literally rotted away, that they not only matched the paper that was there to replace it, then they hand painted what was missing and you can't tell. And so there's something about that. So I have been collecting some original movie posters, but way on the cheap end. Like we're talking like 10, $15. There was one, I think the most I paid was like 45. But I have that, and they're huge. They're freaking ridiculous because they were for the movie theater. So we're talking like 48 by 20, whatever it is. It's like a big giant freaking poster. So all that stuff is kind of stored away in storage because some of it has to get sent off. But then it's like getting it framed is also very expensive and all that stuff. And some of those things, like I frame some of my own stuff, but like original movie posters, I kind of want like the whole premium treatment and taking care of it. So there's something that yeah, I want it, but it's like 6 feet. It's something like you said, it's like a freaking banner. And where am I going to put it? But it's part of the. I think it's it's the fifth element. It's I think I have to have it. So it's one of those things. But anyway, let's see. We got that. Thomas says, "Did you secure the one-click Fifth Element? I sure did. My first group buy. Yes, yes. That is a must purchase. I was debating. So it's like I don't know how like it's all said and done. Like it's going to be not super cheap, but it's way cheaper than when I bought the Leon one-click box. But when I was doing it, I was like, I was very tempted to not get two. I wasn't going to get two and be crazy, but I wanted to be a little crazy. So I was thinking about getting the one-click box and like one of those things. But then I was like, you know what? I was like, why don't I get all three? And then I couldn't. So I stopped myself. I only did the one-click box, and I'll be fine. I'll be totally okay with it. But yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, I had to have it. I'm glad you did too. Ah, the blue corner. Welcome, brother. Must be Saturday yet again. Yeah, it sneaks up on you, man. It really does. Like this morning, I woke up and I honestly, I just didn't want to get out of bed. Normally, I have no problem. Like, I'm not one of those, like, I'm a guy that goes to bed super late. Like, I only need a few hours of sleep. I don't know if it's like one of those things from just being in the Navy for years. And I only need about 4 hours. Like sometimes I can use more, but most days, like almost every day, like I go to sleep 4 hours later, I'm wide awake and I'm good. And I have no problem. Like I'm not one of those guys that lays in bed or because my wife will do that. She'll lay in bed, she'll relax, and then she'll not want to get out of bed. And so she'll sleep in and she'll go back to sleep. I don't do that. Like once I wake up, I might be groggy, I might be pissy, but like I get up. This morning, I did not want to get up. And I don't know if it's because it was cold in the house or whatever it is. And we live in Virginia. So it's like super hot here most of the time anyway. Like one day we had the air conditioning on, and then the next day I had the heat on. And so the temperature's been all over the damn place too, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, I did not want to get out of bed. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I got a show today. So yeah, I did get out of bed. Video Pro, morning. Morning, brother. Morning. Let's see. Night 90 says, what kind of insanity is this 4K? Is the new thing, and LG is just not going to make them anymore, right? Do these people hate physical media people or something? I think it's a bigger problem than that, and obviously it really is the mass people. Like this is definitely down to a collector market again, and it's back to that kind of. It's more of a niche thing, but that you are seeing more people ditching streaming and getting back into physical media. I see that all the time. People in the comments, people asking questions. But then in my real life, when I go thrifting and I go out and I actually search for this stuff, I'm told all the time by the cashiers that there are more people, and specifically younger people. Like so, I'm in my 40s, but like we're talking like teenagers and early 20-year-olds are popping into these stores looking for VHS tapes and DVDs, specifically stuff that they probably didn't grow up with, and they're collecting and buying and getting into it. And then there's like a few things where you can see on YouTube where there's like younger people just kind of getting into it. So it's almost like becoming like how the vinyl records were just a few years ago, where they were pretty much non-existent except for a few old shops and some people that had some record collections, and then all of a sudden like a ton of young people just got into vinyl. So it's kind of that same thing, but specifically I think that the streaming has, I think that is a bigger push than anything. You can't tell me that the fact that all these studios are trying to get the streaming method and save money and all of that, and they're really pushing it for a long time. And at some point, that's not the goal of not the physical media is not being in the stores. So yes, you can argue that the masses aren't generally buying this stuff anymore. But if DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks, those still outsell vinyl by a ton. DVDs alone to this day in 2024 are still outselling vinyl, but vinyl's in stores. Get out of here. There's something about it that I think it is definitely a two-handed thing with the streaming. They're trying to push it, so get rid of it. It's like a chokehold. But yes, there's a ton, and I will agree, there's a ton of people that are not buying this stuff anymore. So of course, the studios, the companies, it's going to consolidate, shrink down, and it's one of those frustrating things. But out of it, I suspect that other companies will pop up. So LG, they're a giant company that make all kinds of things, but like you have specialty things. And just like when vinyl came back and vinyl's in stores, there's all of a sudden like a whole bunch of people were manufacturing turntables again. So while I don't necessarily think you're going to get these like crazy high end, ridiculous nice sets, I think there's still going to be players manufactured. Uh, let's see. What do we got? What do we got? RC Mouse. Oh my gosh. Those are CED video discs on the floor. Awesome. Yes. And actually, I've always had them on the floor, but I'm usually, I'm a big guy and, I take up a lot of room. So I kind of have them like, in a, if I turn around, you can see I got the Star Wars one there. So like, and I got some over here. Let's see. Let me put this down. I got some stuff over there, So like I'm kind of in the way. So I kind of spread them out. But then my last video, a friend of mine, and I'm pretty sure I showed him these before, but a friend of mine texted me and was like, "Hey man, what is that? What is that Porky's behind you? Is that a laser disc?" And I definitely pulled these out to show people. But then as I was pulling them out, I'm pretty sure this movie has never been on. I know there's a DVD. I'm pretty sure there's a DVD, but there's definitely VHS. But I'm pretty sure this movie has never been on Blu-ray, and it's kind of a shame. And it's seniors. So yeah, this is a CED video disc, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically a vinyl record inside here that plays a movie, and it's just pretty dope. This opens up, the disc inside stays in the machine. So you pop this in and then it takes it out, and then you take this out and then it plays the movie. It's actually pretty cool. My player was broken. So like I have a bunch of these, but I'm still trying to track down a working player. And in the things not working, I did just pick up like a ridiculous, and it's too big to like, a thing weighs like 30 pounds and it's behind me. It's like a giant thing. Betamax player. So I got a Betamax player, but it has to go to the shop and get repaired because you put the tape in and it just sits there. It doesn't pull the tape. It doesn't start the thing. Nothing. And then after a second, it ejects it. So I don't know. Something about the engagement. There might be a capacitor issue. So it's just like a quick, easy fix. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of issues, but the model I picked apparently has a known capacitor issue where I might have to have a bunch of capacitors replaced. So it's one of those things. I really wanted it. I think it's worth it, and I did get a Betamax player. I just have to definitely get it repaired. So yeah, I am into the like I collect all the stuff, and I'm definitely into 4K and into movies, but I love the vintage tech. I have this old CRT TV, and I have the whole a 5.1 surround system, but I did just upgrade my receiver because this movie, and it's why I keep this vintage stuff around is because I popped this in. This is a movie I had never saw before. I picked it up at the thrift store, and it's the holiday. So this was a DVD that I had, and I don't know if this ever got a Blu-ray, but the 5.1 surround track on here, and not all like DVD 5.1 surround tracks, but this one specifically, when I popped it in downstairs, the surrounds were like crushing everything. It was like super crazy loud, and I could barely hear the dialogue coming out of the center channel. I pop it up here, crystal clear, perfect, everything, because it is the older tech and this equipment was out when this was brand new. So yes, I know that I could change the settings, but that same setting that I had for just 5.1, and I have the 9.2, Atmos system downstairs. So I have a pretty big system downstairs. But other DVDs that I pop in that just have just a standard 5.1 surround track sound okay downstairs. This one, I could not hear the dialogue till I came up here. So yes, I love vintage tech. I know tons of people tell me to get rid of it all the time, but I love it. It's something about it. There's a little bit of nostalgia, but I didn't grow up with CEDs. I found that later as an adult. So, it's the whole thing about the vintage stuff. I'm just really into it. What do we got? What do we got? 990 says, maybe I just missed it. I didn't know you were in the Navy. God bless you for your service. Oh, yeah. Don't worry about it, brother. I'm telling you, like, I did 6 years and I got out. I wish I stayed in. I really did enjoy my time there. But I ended up getting out. And then, it's just one of those things that, 6 years, I did my time. And a lot of people tell me, thank you for your service. I really just kind of, I don't, one, I don't take compliments very well. I never do. So when anybody's like, "Oh, thanks for the video," or whatever, I don't know what to say because I come from upstate New York. We're kind of a rough and gruff kind of people and very rude most of the time. So like compliments and all that stuff, I don't know what to say. When people say thank you for your service, I also don't know what to say because in my 6 years of doing it, I was in the Navy. I was on a ship. I didn't see actual war. I was close to it. I saw some stuff on a screen because I was a radar technician, so I actually looked at a radar screen most of the time, and so I saw stuff like that. And but we were in the ocean, like we didn't have any like actual close combat, nothing like that. So like the danger level for me was very very low. So I mean, I totally get it. But like when people say thank you for your sacrifice or thank you for your service, I feel like I just got paid by tax dollars for 6 years to have a good time and go see the world. So that's how I always feel about it. But, thank you for saying that. But I was like, I never know how to respond to it. But yeah, I did 6 years. I talk about like not often, but there's certain memories of movies that it'll come up every now and again where, I saw this when I was on deployment or I saw this when I was in the Navy. And specifically anything that came out in 2012, I was gone the whole year pretty much. Like we were home just a couple weeks because I was out on like a joint warrior, which was just a couple months where we did basically war games with a whole bunch of other countries. And we did that for a couple months and then came back for a couple weeks and then we went right on deployment for like another like 6 to 8 months, and so I didn't come back till 2013. And so pretty much the entire year, the fact that I do not have license to drive on Blu-ray, I have it on VHS, but I don't have it on Blu-ray because it came out in 2012. I completely missed it, and then just my time in the Navy, my buying movies wasn't as big as I do now. Like that was the only time in my life in the 25 years that I've been buying movies that I really slowed down was my Navy time. And so I would buy them, I would still go on a weekly basis, but the amount of room that I had to store it, I definitely was more picky and choosy. But License to Drive would have been one I picked up. So that's one I missed out on. It's like $100 used on eBay. And so I'm just hoping that that one gets a 4K sometime soon or just a re-release would be great. But yeah, License to Drive is one I don't have. And I found there's like a Spanish version online on eBay where you can get for it's way cheaper than the $100. But I don't mind importing movies sometimes, but for some reason I don't want the Spanish version. It says like Papa Cadillac, I think that's the name of it. I want the original. I want the original. But yeah, so it comes up sometimes, but like I don't like I'm not like a gung ho Navy guy. I wish I never got out though. Let's see. What do we got? When the demand for new players are there's someone will step up and make them. There's no new there's not enough new features at the moment to warrant a mass production of players on a regular. Oh yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think yeah, just like vinyl. Like vinyl became a thing again. People were buying up all the used stock, and then all of a sudden now you can buy brand new players. A lot of them don't have any bells or whistles or none of the frills. Like I know if you get like an older 70s or even 80s version of a turntable, they have so many. I've seen one that it'll play the record, and then it'll take the arm, move it around, and then stick it underneath and just play the other side so you don't have to flip it. So there's like all these like special auto features and all this like extra stuff that was like on the old equipment. They don't do anything like that now. I don't think they even do automatic like the arm to set down automatically. I think it's all manual, and some of this stuff's kind of expensive now. So yeah, I was like, if it's going to happen, I'm pretty sure it would. I agree with you. Let's see. Thomas says my family streamed Red One tonight. Recommend, and it buffered a few times. I turned to my wife and said, "This is why I have a ridiculous amount of physical media." Yes. Well, I'm glad you liked Red One. I did not. My daughter did. My daughter enjoyed it. It's definitely a popcorn flick. It's a popcorn flick. It's feels like a Marvel movie. I'm not super into those Marvel movies, so it's fine for me for a one and done. But my daughter loved it, so we'll probably have to get it at some point. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like the 100%. My wife would rather stream. She would rather do it. So I put some movies on a Plex server. I put her favorites on there. The TV shows. I really enjoy streaming my TV shows from the Plex server, but I physically have them all. I have them downstairs, and I have access to them. I got Blu-ray shows and DVD shows, so I have those. But I did dump them onto my computer, and that's a really great thing because I also have another program, Kodi, that you don't need the internet to use, and you just kind of access it in just like your own streaming service. But she would rather stream, and even with the buffering and all the nonsense, and we have horrible internet here. So if you guys know, if you watch this show, like there's been times where I cut out or it just pauses. It's a horrible situation we have. And so streaming has just never been my thing. But yeah, I 100% agree. But even with all the problems and the buffering, my wife would rather just sit there and pick something from a remote still. And I was like, but you can just go here because we have all these movies up here, but I still have like 15 or 1800 Blu-rays and 4Ks downstairs and so in a closet. So we have a giant movie closet with this black shelf behind me, the black one. I have 3 brown shelves like that, and they're just a little bit shorter, so one shelf down, but then they're the same shelves, and they're downstairs in the closet, and they're just chock full of movies. All the 4Ks are down there that aren't boutiques, and so the access to getting them is very convenient. And so I've caught her streaming or trying to watch something on the Plex server that we own, and I'm like, that's crazy to me, crazy. So yeah. Video Pro. When I worked in a video store, we had those in the shop, but we wore out Jaws one day. Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool. So I worked in a video shop when I was like, in my teens and high school, but yeah, we never had anything like that. I never saw, I heard of Laserdisc, but I never saw a Laserdisc till I was an adult. Same thing, the CED. So yeah, that would have been really cool experience. Wow, you wore out Jaws. That's pretty cool. 990 says, I've been a physical media collector before it was cool. My first DVD was the original Finding Nemo from Blockbuster. That's pretty dope. Yeah, I was pretty much in the same boat. I remember like it was the mid 90s, and I had I wanted to work at the video store, but I was a little too young. So I ended up I was able to get a job at McDonald's. And so I was a teenager. I got the job at McDonald's, but I could see the video store from the McDonald's. And so it was just always one of those things. As soon as I turned 16, I freaking went over there, applied, I got the job. But in that time, like just that little bit of window while I was before I could work at the video store, I would go in there all the time. Anytime they had like they sell out the old one. So like when a new movie comes out, they get like 10 copies. And then after it's not popular anymore, they would sell off maybe 8 of the copies or 6 of the copies. And so you'd get them much cheaper than if you went a brand new. So I started getting them that way. And that was pretty much how I started collecting. So it's really been about, over 25 years. And that's what started it. But very quickly, like right when I started, I maybe had 10 or so of my own personal VHS tapes that I got with my own money. And then it was like, boom, DVD was the thing. It was super popular. Like the cheapest crappy Apex DVD player was like $1,000 or something. And so it was something I really, really wanted. And man, I ended up like, I took all my money, I saved up, and all my friends were buying cars. And so I was 16. Instead of getting a car, I grabbed an old television. There was like somebody was getting rid of an old TV. And so I had this old tube TV in my house. And obviously tube TVs were still, everybody had one. And I got a VCR, and then I spent my own money, and for my own birthday, I bought myself it was the open box version at Circuit City, and it was $400 used open box, and it was the 5-disc Panasonic DVD player. Every one of my friends was buying cars. I built my own surround sound, and I got the DVD. My very first DVD was the Patriot, and it was funny because I spent literally every last dime I had to get the player. I was thinking I wanted, because like at the time I went, they were saying that they had just came down like a ton in price. And so I was gonna get like the cheap, crappy, like low end, like Apex or whatever the lowest end was. I was gonna get that. I was just telling myself I was gonna get that, get a DVD and be out with it. But the difference in the price to just get the Panasonic, and so I was like, it's a better brand. It has 5 discs. So now if I put TV shows in there, So then that's what I ended up going with. But I spent every last dime that I didn't have money for a DVD. And so I went home, I put it in. Obviously, I was able to listen to CDs on it, but then it was a whole entire week till I got paid again before I could go buy a DVD. And so that was my memory. I'll always remember it. And yeah, it was The Patriot. And it was a good one. It was a fun one. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Morning, Wilkie's Movies and Music. Morning, brother. Morning, brother. And Tattooed Biker. What's up, brother? Morning, brother, in chat. Yeah. Morning, morning. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. He said, and Tattooed Biker, he doesn't talk physical media, but he talks, he has this channel where he tells like these awesome stories. They're true stories. People write into him all the time, and he just reads their story. And he's got a great channel. Go check him out if you're into that stuff. But yeah, they're all like true stories, most of the creepy stuff. And yeah, the kids with the black eyes, that stuff always just kind of freaks me out. Like crazy stuff, like stairs in the forest. Those ones creep me out too. Yeah. Good guy, good friend. Let's see. Thomas says, was wondering if you owned Freaked in your own collection. I only have the Laserdisc. I have it on DVD. Right? No. Freaked. Let's see. No, I have let's see, 4, 5. Let's see. Freaked. I have something, but I think mine is from like 33. Oh, I have Freaks. So I have Freaks from 1933. So Freaked, that's that one that's got that like hodgepodge cast. I think I've seen it. Let's see. Let's see. Freaked. Okay. Yes, I've seen Freaked. I don't have it. It's one of those ones that like I was doing a live stream a couple of years ago, and I used to do watch-alongs, watch parties, and so we'd watch a movie. I would put the link in the chat, and then everybody could watch through like my Amazon link, and then that way we wouldn't get struck on YouTube. And then we do a commentary live, and that was one where the friend I had on was like really like, oh man, you got to check out this movie, and I wasn't into it because it was mostly because I'm trying to talk to the chat, trying to do the thing. I had never seen it before. It's something I would probably pick up, but I remember when I watched it, it wasn't a great experience because it's one of those weird. It's a weird movie. It really is a weird movie, but it's one of those things that I would have loved to just enjoy by myself, get it in, and really just kind of absorb it. And so, maybe I like it, maybe I don't. But like that experience, trying to talk to everybody, trying to pay attention to the movie, and then listen to the other people's commentary, it was just it was a bad experience. But yeah, something I don't have. Let's see. I only have the Laserdisc, which shockingly is the most affordable version I've found. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those like obscure movies, so I'm pretty sure that until people find it and the scalpers find it. So if it ever got like a Kino Lorber release or something and then went out of print, you can guarantee that would be like $100 or more once it went out of print. But yeah, the older versions of it, if you can find it on VHS or DVD or Laserdisc, I bet you, because it's one of those things that flies under most people's radar, and it's got that like great cast. So it's another thing that I'm surprised more people haven't seen it, but yeah, it's definitely a weird one. Let's see, Tattoo Biker says, hey there, like 25 people up in here. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's push 80s to the algorithm. Oh, thanks, brother. I don't do the self-promotion all that much, but thank you. Appreciate it. Video Pro. Now I'm getting nostalgic for my video store days. My most hated question behind the counter: what's good that's in? And oh, it's back in. It's black and white. Anything else? Yes, yes. Those two things were horrible, and it was the same thing. Like on a Friday night was the worst. I don't know, for you, but for me, Friday night was the worst. Most people would be coming in off of work, and then they'd have their kids, and everybody was trying to get the newest, most popular thing that got released on Tuesday, the Tuesday before, and so then Friday, like it's all out. It was all out like pretty much as soon as we opened kind of thing. And so, it's like, and then everybody has the same thing. Everybody's pissed. Everybody's angry, and they're angry with you. Like, well, I'm sure, I couldn't hold the rental till you showed up, sir. Kind of, it's just one of those like weird things, getting yelled at over a movie that everybody wanted to watch. And so then, but it brings up that point of like, and I love this. And that's part of why I was like, the streaming thing just doesn't work for me. Because when I used to go to the video store, and I remember this as a kid, even before I worked there, you'd go to the video store, and if the movie that you wanted to watch was not in, you would rent it, but then you would go to rent it, but then if it was not in, you took all that time to get there. So you drove that whole way. Like 9 times out of 10, you were not leaving without something because it was just the effort of going and you had already planned to watch something. So even in the disappointment, there was that effort of finding something, and you have this wall to wall, basically a sea of movie covers. And so there's something that is going to call to you, and then that's how I found the best hidden gems, is going for something and not them not having it in stock, and then just being kind of forced to it, because then you're going to drive all the way home for nothing. It's a waste of a trip. So I found so many hidden gems that way. Some of my absolute favorite movies. I'll have to do like a list sometime or a video sometime of showing off some of my absolute favorite hidden gems that I found at the video store when I was a kid. Because yeah, that was a good experience. But that's the same sentiment, and the black and white thing. I don't get the black and white issue. So a movie is good. If a movie was good 50 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever. If a movie was good back then, and I get that there's some things that just kind of, they don't age well. Certain things don't age well. But in general, if a movie was good back then, it's good now. And my wife uh, hates black and white movies, no matter what. And even like the classics that most people can kind of agree on, like, for the most part, most people agree on It's a Wonderful Life. She hates it. She hates it. I watch Holiday Inn. She hates it. Like, and she complains that it's not black and white. And my youngest has kind of picked up on that. So she watches certain black and white films, but most of the time, and my daughter has this thing where she knows how to say things how the rest of the world does, but she lives in her own little world where she says things the way she wants. So instead of calling it black and white, she says it's not painted, and the same thing. So it's just, I'm like, it's in color or it's in black and white. Oh no, is it paint or is it not paint? I was just like, get the hell out of here, stop being weird. And so she has this like way of saying certain things, and so that one will always stick with me. So the only black and white movie my youngest daughter claims that she loves is Some Like It Hot, and that's just a fun one that I love too. But she watches a bunch, but she pretends to hate them because my wife complains. So, because my youngest is a movie person. But yeah, the black and white thing, I never understood it, never did. See, you are smart. Physical media is better than a car. Yes. Yes, I'm telling you, man. I was all my friends, and then was the thing is all my friends had cars, so I was never without a ride because they all wanted to hang out, and so it was just a no brainer. Just hop in, let's go. And yeah, I never had an issue with that, and I didn't buy my first car until I was like 18. Like literally, I was graduating high school and I was like, all right, I got to get to work. I got to figure things out. And I didn't buy my first car till then. But yeah, from like 16 to 18, all my friends drove me around, no problem. And they would most of the time just pull up in the driveway, honk the horn, or call the house and say, I'll be there in a few minutes, get ready. And I just know, I was like, okay, I never even asked where we were going. I would just hop in the car and go and just had a good time. But yeah, yeah. I bought movies and stuff, and I could care less about a car. And I'm still in that boat today. Like a lot of people ask me like how I afford most of this stuff. I haven't had a car payment in 7 years. Like I'm happy with an old car as long as it works. It gets you at A to B. You don't have to dump a ton of money into it. Like having a $500 or $600 car payment is stupid to me. Even a couple $100. But I'm at a point where this one's getting a little old, and the wife is really nagging me about getting a new car. So we're gonna have to get a new car this year. So my movie budget's going to change a little bit, but hopefully not a ton. So yeah, I would rather have movies than a car any day. As long as the car I have is functional and gets me to where I need to go. Jackie, welcome, welcome. As a kid in the first two, as a kid, the first two DVDs that my family got with our first DVD player was Shrek and American Pie, and the player was a PlayStation 2. Yes. Oh, and there's a funny story. So I did have the PlayStation 2 as well, and so I got that one, but I got that one a little bit after I got my first DVD player. So I was a senior in high school, and we had our senior prom, and I went to that, and then after the prom, so people didn't go and screw each other in cars and stuff. Our school put on a casino. And so we ended up going to the middle school right afterwards. And they had this like raffle. You walk in the door, they hand you like 10 raffle tickets, and then you can spend it and treat it like money. And so this like little casino, and then they had prizes. And so you could turn your winnings into prizes. Well, I was like one of the few people that just kind of didn't have any winnings, and I didn't care either. Like I was just there for fun. I didn't expect to get anything, and it was like whatever. Well, they had a drawing for, like, the 2 people that didn't get a prize that night, and I was one of them. And the grand prize was a PlayStation 2. So I literally won the PlayStation 2, and this was at a time when you couldn't buy one in stores, like, they were sold out, they were super hard to get, and I had that. So, yeah, I ended up having that for a DVD player too, but I it was like I still used my 5 disc. But, yeah, that was a fun one. But, yeah, that's something that, I forgot about that. That was a lot of people's first DVD player. Let's see. Brent Madison, welcome, brother. Me and my brother would hit the video store Tuesday morning for new release Good Times. Yes. Well, I wouldn't generally hit the video rental store, but yeah, Tuesday became my day, man. Like, after school, after work, I was like, we got to go to Circuit City, we got to go to Best Buy, I got to look for movies, and it was definitely a thing. And so from the time I was 16 until literally like this past year, like early, because it was early spring where Best Buy stopped carrying movies, right? So yeah, it's like that was a long time. It was a hard ritual to kind of get out of, and now most of my purchases are online, which I'm not a fan of. Let's see. And Blue Corner says, "Ha ha ha! I actually built my first DVD player." Well, there you go, there you go. I'm assuming out of a computer. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Night 90 says, I live in Michigan, and the south side of Lansing, where I used to live. There was a store called the Family Video. Pandemic destroyed it. Oh man, it's horrible, horrible. Yeah, that destroyed a lot of things, especially video stores. Let's see. I don't hate black and white movies, but if there was a colored version, ain't no way I'm picking the black and white over the color. Um, I don't know. I mean, obviously to each their own. But I watched Godzilla minus one, and I watched the minus color, and I love both. And I don't know if I prefer it, so I still got to get it. I haven't picked that one up yet because I really want the version that has both in there. And yeah, I haven't picked it up. But I was very tempted to just grab the 4K at the Walmart the other day, but it's $30 for a 4K, and then I still want the minus color version. So I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I'm into it. I'm into it. It really doesn't bother me. And then when I was a young kid, I had a black and white TV in my room. So there was a lot of things that I watched when I was in like elementary school in that time period of my life, that I watched that was in color, but I had a black and white TV. So I remember the very first time I ever watched Nightmare on Elm Street was in black and white. One of my favorite Saturday morning cartoons was Pirates of Darkwater, but that came on in our area after all the regular cartoons were over. So my mom would kick us off the TV in the living room and say, go play and do whatever. And so I would go to my room, and then I'd turn on the TV, and then Pirates of Darkwater would be starting where all the rest of the cartoons ended at noon. So and I watched the entire show in black and white. And so I have a love for it. I have a love for it. Bet your friends drove you to Blockbuster. You could all watch at your place. Yeah, yeah. We definitely took tons of trips, but then like they weren't into movies as I was. Like, and the one friend that I did have that was into movies had his own kind of setup, and he was like a year or two older because he was technically like my friend's older brother, and we became friends because of the whole movie thing. But then yeah, so, like, we watched a lot of movies at his house too, but it was my parents were weird. They didn't like friends over, they didn't like people that didn't belong in the house, they didn't like them at the house, and so it was just a weird thing. So, the only time I could do that is when they weren't around, so but yeah, it was a thing. It was, come over to the house, watch a movie. Let's see. Uh, got that. I think we're getting all caught up. Catch up with that in a little bit. But yeah, we have a lot to cover today. And we got the sales. So there's a lot of sales going on. There's a lot of things coming out. But the very first thing I wanted to get into is we talked about the bad discs from Labyrinth. So this right here, and I'll have the links down in this after the show. But you can go to Shout has the program up, so you can just fill out the form to get the new thing. So these were discs that were purchased at the Walmart only Labyrinth 4K, and then the Labyrinth 4K UHD Collector's Edition both had issues. Let's share this. So here's what that page looks like. And yeah, so you can fill out this form and get your new disc. So there was an issue with that. I'm not sure what the issue was, but there's disc replacement on that. And then the next thing to talk about was, let's see. Oh, we talked about, so Riddick had the 4K has issues where they cut out a scene. Apparently, the scene where he grabs her butt, and yeah, it's they cut it out. They cut it out, and then I don't know if there was an apology or there was an excuse for it, but I mean, obviously, in these modern times of everybody getting offended, I get why it was probably cut out, thinking that nobody would notice. And it's one of those things where most of the people that are buying this stuff nowadays are people that love this stuff and they've seen it a million times or it's an upgrade. So how they didn't think that anybody would notice is kind of baffles me. So that's an issue. I don't know if that's getting a disc replacement, but right now I'm keeping my Blu-ray, and I kind of wish that Arrow Video got the rest of them. So it's just kind of, I have the Arrow Video. What is that one? The Riddick? Pitch Black. Oh, that's what it is. Pitch Black. So yeah, Pitch Black is on Arrow Video, and yeah, that's. I wish that they got the rest of them. Let's see. We got that. The Arrow Video sale is still going on. We talked about that before, but yeah, the Yuletide Frights. I'm not going to go over it again, but we're going to bring it up. But then Umbrella sales going on, and they got the buy one get one free. So we're going to talk about that just a second. I'm excited about that one. So yes, check out these Yuletide Frights. They're still available. Like I said, I went over all of my suggestions last week, but up to 50% off. I grabbed a few things. I have them coming. I don't remember what I grabbed. I only grabbed 4 things, and I did get Conan the Destroyer, the Blu-ray Premium Edition. I had the 4K of Barbarian, but I missed out on those early in January, so I ended up getting my 4K through eBay, paying a little bit more. And so I was like, I didn't want to spend a fortune on the 4K. So I grabbed the Blu-ray and a couple other things. I don't remember what I grabbed. So we'll talk about that when I get them. But yeah, I took advantage of that sale. But then this one, I have about $200 worth of stuff in my cart, and I'm not going to spend that. I got to weed it down. I got to spend about 100 because it's Christmas. I got to justify it. But there's a lot of stuff that I wanted in this Kino sale. So Kino's having their Winter Wonderland sale, over 600 titles as low as $5. So I don't think you go wrong with that one. Like I said, I put way too much stuff in my cart, so I do have to weed this out. But highly recommend grabbing this. It's going till Monday, so the 16th is the final day for this. So I definitely take advantage of it this weekend if you have some extra money to spend. Let's see. Okay, let's share this. All right, so yeah, the Winter Wonderland. I have 14 things in the cart. And I know like one or the two things, like the sale wasn't as good. It was like, $15 or $17. But most everything else I have in my cart is right around that, $5-6 price range. 2 Days in the Valley is one I know that I had because I haven't seen it in a while. And for $10, I think it's great because every single time I'm at the used bookstore, there's one on DVD and I almost get it every time. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just grab this. It's on sale. So that is in the cart. And I'm probably going to finish this order up after the show. But yeah, I got to weed it down because it was getting up there pretty quickly. So yeah, take advantage of the Kino Lorber sale. And this Umbrella sale, this is the one that I haven't hit up yet either. I think it's going on until it's like pretty much the end of the year, but then I think it's also like as they sell out. So I wish, because I just picked this up, but I thought, and it was just my own thing of not checking. Let me share this here, but let's see, share the screen. So the Black Friday stuff. All right. So we have the Black Friday, buy one, get one free. There's a ton of great things, ton of great recommendations. But one thing that's on here is something I thought was sold out. So I ended up getting it through eBay. I paid the regular price, what it was, $80. So I paid that for it, but I could have taken advantage of getting the buy one, get one free. And with Umbrella, if you do $140, I think you spend $140, you get free international shipping. So anybody that's in America, you got to spend that much to get it. And so when you're getting buy one get one free stuff, it kind of hurts to get up to that price. So this would have definitely helped out. So if you don't have the Burt box, that's $80 right there. But yeah, you can definitely. There's a lot of stuff, and at least like 4 items that I had wanted to add from here. There was a lot of stuff that didn't have the slip covers and the premium editions anymore, but still great movies if you want to. Like this one here, Dead End Drive, I'm sure doesn't have the slip cover anymore. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff to grab. This Turtles set, I know that the 4K is going to be coming out soon, but Turtles is one of my all-time favorites. This is one that I completely, I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. So I want to get that anyway. And buy one, get one free now is a good time to have it. If you missed out on the big premium edition of the Super Mario, but you still want it, that's available. Possession's a good one. So there's a lot of good stuff to check out there. So yeah, definitely hit that one up, but know that you'll get free shipping internationally if you spend over $140. Yeah, this, let's see. Oh, there we go. Blue Corner says, no, my work at the time was building DVD players, built it and bought it at a discount. Well, that is one hell of a story. That's a great thing. That's a great memory. And that's actually pretty cool. Yeah, I didn't know that about you, brother. That is awesome. Let's see. Night 90 says, people gave up on human interaction for streaming. I used to go to Blockbuster and talk to a guy, and he'd recommend horror movies to me. That's better than any streaming service could ever give me. Oh, 100%. That's my frustration with the self checkouts. Like my daughter the other day, because she likes to be independent. She's like she just turned 8, so she likes to be independent and she likes to do things. And so she wants to scan the stuff and go to the self check. And I said absolutely not. So she was very mad at me the other day because the line for the self checkout was all the way back through the bread aisle and like all the way to the back of the store. These people waiting to self checkout, and there's 4 cash registers open with almost nobody in them. And I was just like, that one is a ludicrous mentality of like, you're going to stand there and wait forever so you can check yourself out for fast and convenient because you don't want to deal with people. And the other thing, and that was the other thing, I always said it was dehumanizing. You don't, I most of my life before I was in the Navy, I was in retail. So I spent a ton of time, I was a cashier or I did other retail jobs. And so that whole, being able to talk to people and that recommendations is just, it's an enjoyment that you'll never get out of it. And I was like, I remember going through just a grocery aisle and asking somebody. There was an old lady that was ringing me out, and I asked her specifically. I said, "This is what I'm making." And I said, "I don't know if you know, but do I have all the stuff I need to make it?" And she's like, "Oh no, you need this, and you can't get that at self checkout." So yeah, one of those things. One of those things. Then we have, let's see, talked about that stuff. Oh yes, and this here. So we have the shameless self promotion. So the store that we always have linked there where all the shirts are, we have the Nakatomi Plaza, the stuff for Christmas. I'm going to keep the Christmas stuff up all year round. If you want to buy it, you buy it. You don't, you don't. But the Halloween stuff, some of that sold out and it's just kind of out of stock forever. I'm going to repurpose some of those designs and change them out. But yeah, this is something I want to keep because the one shirt I ordered it a wicked long time ago, and that shirt is so popular, it keeps going out of stock before they can make it. So I haven't even got that one yet. So I wanted to keep these up all year round. And the promotion, we're doing a sale that it's going to last all through Christmas. 10% off everything in the store. We have the membership over there. So we have memberships here where we're doing all kinds of benefits there. You can always join, and we love you, and that's that. And we'll give you some things that you don't get through all the other rest of the stuff. But over here on the store, there's a membership as well, and with that, you're going to get discounts on merch, and there's even stuff for free merch. But over here, there is a free version of that membership, so you can just sign up. You don't have to pay anything, and you get some of the benefits. I don't know how that whole free thing works over there yet, but I just launched it, and so yeah, just wanted to mention it. But yeah, we have all the stuff, and I'm going to keep it up because yeah, I wanted to make sure everybody got what they wanted. And I know that some of the Christmas stuff, because it's so busy now, isn't shipping before Christmas anymore. So we have this is the members only option is available, and 10% off, free shipping on anything over $150. But this shirt is in, and this one's available for everybody. The Die Hard shirt is in, and this one came in. It's really nice, and we have some members only merchandise that you have to be a member to purchase. But other than that, yeah, everything is there. Check that out. And what I did was this shirt, and I was going to wear it today, but then I was like, I'm a coffee. I'm probably going to spill it. But anyway, the white one here, the Die Hard is a Christmas movie. This shirt came super fast and really premium. So these are the hoodies that I normally do, and they got the thicker ties. They're nice and soft, but this one is like thick and just really just a big, comfy sweatshirt. And it came from a different place. It came from the same store, but they used a different brand for the blank. And this is just a premium one. So this one was more expensive by a lot, but totally, totally worth it. So I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this after Christmas for this one because this was the less expensive hoodie. So that's it. Enough of that. And let's go back into movies. Let's go back into the movie talk. We have a lot of stuff. Yeah, here's the article on the LG players. And so that article will be linked to after the show. So this is something that I saw this, and I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy because I'm not. I'm not. I love physical media. I don't think it's dying. I think physical media is forever. I've got movies in my collection that are like 40 years old that I purchased last year, finding them at the thrift store. So physical media, I think, is going to outlive a lot of us, unfortunately. Um, LG, one of the last holdouts, ceases production of Blu-ray players, and most other electronics makers have already pulled the plug and Blu-ray players, but LG held on longer than most. Well, Sony and Panasonic still are. And so they're definitely two of the bigger names in it. I don't see them ceasing production anytime soon, but it is one of those things I do understand that if the mass market isn't funding it, it's going to be a thing where they're not going to do it anymore. Let's see. Was a Yamaha DVT 50 inch speakers. Still have the speakers to this day. Yes, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Yamaha that's a good one. That's one that I never got into those, but I was like, I've definitely had at the time when I was probably in my mid 20s, I was like really trying to figure out what I wanted. They were on that. There was those and Kefs, the KEF, that brand. Those were really on the forefront of what I wanted. I ended up not going with that. I ended up going with the Bowers and Wilkins, and I'm happy with it. I've had them for quite a while, and yeah, just a thing. But yeah, the Yamos would have been a contender easily. I did buy the Shout Riddick, but I still hoping Arrow does their own version too. Yeah, did you even notice there was a problem, or you haven't got it yet? Let's see, dude, your channel needs like an Amazon wishlist feature, like those OnlyFans girls have for cool media that people can get you would unbox on stream. The beard is pretty sexy. Well, I thank you that I do know the beard is sexy, but I do have an Amazon wish list, and I have that linked into all my videos. I'm not expecting anybody to buy me anything, but I have it there to show what I'm getting, what I'm interested in. It's there. And then, there have been people that have asked, and so I do put it there. In the entire time that I've been on live streams and YouTube, and I've been here for years, I only had one person send me something, and it was a friend of mine, and he sent me. It was to be a jerk. Because he thought it was funny. He wasn't really being a jerk. He sent me stuff, but I don't like Pete Davidson. I can't stand him. I don't like any of his movies. For whatever reason, I just don't get the love for Pete Davidson, and so it comes up all the time. And so then he purposely sent me tons of Pete Davidson films, and I had told him, I said whatever he was going to send me, I was going to watch. And so he sent me a bunch of Pete Davidson films. The only one that was actually decent, it was a one and done for me though, because I still can't stand Pete Davidson, is that one where he basically kind of supposedly played himself or wrote himself. It wasn't really like a biop, but he plays a firefighter's kid, and then his dad dies in the movie, but off screen when he was younger, and so he has that same kind of thing, and then he becomes a firefighter. It's one of those things where it wasn't the worst film ever, but then the other ones he sent it to is, and then the only one that I have that wasn't like. I was like getting into it, and then Pete Davidson showed up, and I'm like, oh man, it was Fast X. So there's that one. And I have never been a huge Fast and Furious guy where I love the first one. I think the first one's great, and I have Tokyo Drift on HD DVD, but like that was the extent of my Fast and the Furious collection. And then he sent me Fast X. So that was the only time ever that anybody sent me anything, but it is available. You never have to send anything. I'd rather you get yourself a shirt or get yourself a mug. I'd rather you get yourself something, but it is there. People want me to do it, and I'll do the unboxings totally. Um, Thomas says, highly recommend Hamilton book. My cart is currently sitting at over $400 and I've already thinned my initial cart. Lots of good stuff there. Oh yeah, always. I definitely talk about Hamilton book. I didn't think they were doing a sale, so I didn't mention them today, but yeah, Hamilton book is great and they have $4 shipping no matter how much is in your cart, and that's a great thing. So if you're going to get one thing through Hamilton book, you might as well get like a bunch of things because it's $4 shipping if you got one thing or 20 things. Let's see. What do we got? What do we got? Let's see. Video Pro says, I'll stop with the video store days. But one time we had someone come in who was just very annoying, and we recommended Pink Flamingos and sent them on their way. I'm not proud of it. Oh, that's funny. That is too funny. So I never did that. I never did that. That's actually really funny. But when I was a kid, I was working at Circuit City. So part of the job is to sell the TVs because I sold big screen televisions and I sold surround sound systems, and those are the two departments I worked in. And we were required to get a percentage of each sale have the extended warranty, and so we're supposed to sell the extended warranty. And I don't believe in extended warranties, and I very, very rarely buy them. And that was only because my wife kind of talked me into it because it was a really expensive purchase, and then we never ended up using it ever. So yeah, extended warranties are just a scam that the companies make tons of money on, and so we had to sell them. And we would kind of get yelled at if we didn't sell enough, or we would get the conversation of you're not hitting your numbers. And so to avoid that, I just kind of turned into, if there was a jerk that was on the floor that was just not wanting to listen to my spiel about the extended warranty and why you might need it, I would go into the flux capacitor conversation. So if you have seen Back to the Future, which most of us probably have, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But in my real life, anytime I've ever done this, not a single person ever knew what I was talking about except for my coworkers. And so I would just be like, well, where that flux capacitor goes. And I would go into this whole thing. And then not every time, but there were times where that would just flip them. Like, oh, fuck, gotta get it. That gotta get the warranty. And it was just a thing. So I never did the flamingos thing or anything like that at the video store. But Circuit City, I did pull the flux capacitor. And not that I'm not proud of it, but I'm like, it was kind of shitty. So um, let's see. Patrick Williams. Hey, let's see. We do not need LG 4K players anyway. I use Panasonic UB820, and I'll buy another one of the UB 9000 mile. Yeah, I have the UB 9000, a great player. But yeah, that's the thing is, I don't want to be a doom and gloom guy. It's something to note, but yeah, I don't own an LG. I know that people do, so I'm not really knocking them. But yeah, I went with another company. You're still waiting on Riddick. December in Denmark. Yeah, slow times. Yes, it is. I bet it is. And Patrick Williams, Pete Davidson from Staten Island, New York, was horrible on Saturday Night Live. Yes, yeah. I don't get the love for Pete Davidson. I really don't. I really don't. So yeah, we have all that going on. We ended up having a great conversation today. We went way too long, so it's already been an hour. So I'm good. If you guys want to keep going, we'll make this a really long episode today because we haven't even talked about the pre-orders or anything like that. But I'm having a good time. So if you guys are having a good time, I'll definitely stick around. I'll do a long show today. January we have the Heretic. Now this is something that in a lot of these modern horror films I have not really been into. There's been a couple of them that kind of tricked me. I watched it and then I was very disappointed, like Trap. I did not like that movie. So if you like it, good for you. But I'm not a Shyamalan guy. I just can't get into the Shyamalan films. But this one, Heretic, I'm interested in it, but I don't know if it's a day one purchase for me. So I think I need to watch this first. But after I watched the trailer, like it seems pretty good. But I've been tricked by some of the modern movies lately. And so this one here comes out in January. So an A24 film, I think I think I might own like two, maybe three A24 films total. And one of them's Midsummer. I picked up the like $5 plain version a while back, and I still haven't seen it. So it's one of those things that, yeah, A24. It's kind of a blind spot in my collection, and I have not a ton of like out of all the ones I've seen, I have Priscilla, and I don't love that film. I think it's okay. I think it's worth watching again. But then other than that, and Midsummer, those are the only ones I'm actually thinking of, and I still haven't even seen Midsummer yet. So, and I know people love that one. People go gaga over Midsummer, and I, uh, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Yeah, so this one, same thing. It's one of those things where I'm intrigued. I liked the trailer. I'm interested, but then I kind of feel that it's not a me movie. I feel that it's going to pull the modern thing of, ha ha ha, you really didn't like this in the first place, but we tricked you. So it is one of those things. Then we have that's in January. Then in February, here's something that I've been anticipating for quite a while. And as soon as they announced that it was coming, I got rid of my DVD. So I had this on DVD, and it was an old Blockbuster DVD. So the kid, when you open up the case, it was the old Blockbuster case for the DVD, and I got rid of it. I traded it into the used bookstore because I knew I was getting this. And then they announced it, and then I was disappointed. And then other countries are getting it. So I'll be importing a different version or getting the Blu-ray. So I don't know if I'm getting the 4K on this just yet, but is it the Steelbook only? And it definitely doesn't make my top 25. I don't love the Steelbook art on here. I mean, if you guys do, go right ahead. But Panic Room. Panic Room is a very underrated film. I absolutely love this one. And it's one that we never got a Blu-ray. And I'm pretty sure we never, like, nobody got a Blu-ray in any of the countries. It's very possible that somebody did, but most people I don't think did at all. And so this is something that them putting out a Blu-ray now, probably after whatever restoration that this 4K scan had or 4K disc had, I think the Blu-ray is going to be pretty damn good. And that Blu-ray has the original art, but this is coming out. This is the 4K. This is what seems to be available for us only is this. But then the when I clicked this Panic Room, all the different versions that are going to be released in the different countries, they have the Blu-ray with the original art, but then there's a couple other 4Ks on the plainer version, but depending on the importing prices, like if I'm going to spend about 50 bucks, I don't think that's a $50 movie for me. Like I just imported Willow from France with the standard slipcover version because I was not having that 4K steelbook that we're getting here. So I imported the France version, and it ended up being like with tax and shipping and everything, it was about 48 bucks. So that is a $50 movie to me, but Panic Room is not. So it depends on the import price on it. But this is something that I would happily pick up import 4K, but the Blu-ray I think is going to be just perfectly fine. That's just my opinion. So there's a Spanish version of the Blu-ray here, and that's the one that might have been out. Yeah, it says May 2023. So I think the only people that got a Blu-ray was the Spanish version here. But this one here, the Blu-ray, it comes out in February too. It's got the original art from Sony Pictures. I think that's what I'm going to end up picking up if the 4K is not cheap enough from importing it. But if we're only getting this steelbook, it's not for me. I don't love the art at all. And then you have a couple other versions, no art. Let's see, Panic Room, this 4K from France. Again, that'll probably be about the same that I paid for Willow, about 48 bucks. And so it's not a $50 movie. I would happily get the other version. But yeah, there's a couple versions all across the world. They're getting a couple different versions, similar art. But yeah, for me, 100%, I don't need that steelbook. Let's see. Patrick says, Pete David. Oh, yeah, we already said that. There we go. Tattoo Biker says, the Fast and Furious series, well, the first two and Drift was pretty good. And then they kind of got ridiculous. Yeah, and I mean, I totally get it. If you like those movies, they're a little ridiculous. They just were never for me. That first one about the street racing and then the hijacking, it was just cool. And the fact that I love heist movies, and that's a part of it. I mean, like they're stealing stuff from a moving vehicle, but it's still, to me, it's a heist movie. And so I loved it. I loved everything about Fast and Furious, the very first one. The second one, I actually don't even have in the collection. I can't even tell you the last time I even saw the second one. Um, but yeah, the Tokyo Drift, I only have it because I found the HD DVD. I like it's one of the ones that I enjoyed watching it again, and I enjoyed having it. But getting it cheap was the only reason. Like I never looked for it. I never was like when it was brand new in stores. I never needed it. I was really happy with just that first one. Let's see. Here's another one. Here's another steelbook that's coming out. But then let's see. Oh, that's not the steelbook. Why did I do that? All right, there we go. All right, here's another steelbook's coming out, but I wanted to show you that there are options on this movie as well. So if you're not a steelbook person, because I'm not really, steelbook guy anymore, but even this, I don't love this art. Now I can see where some people do because you have the red and the blood and the whole tie-in. It's the new Shining 4K steelbook. So this one here, I mean, if you love it, it's great. But for me, I'm not into the super plain, simple, art. I want something like I go back to the old Drew Struzan days of hand painted movie posters. So like the Goonies poster, Lethal Weapon, like all those stuff. Like, well, maybe not Lethal Weapon. I got a whole book of the Drew Struzan stuff, the Indiana Jones stuff. Like that stuff was just amazing. And then you're getting an axe and a red wall. I mean, tell me that it's not clip art. Like I mean, come on. I don't know. It's not for me. But if you love it, you love it. I totally get it, and it ties in. You got the red blood wall and the axe. I'm fine. But yeah, that one's coming out. And I mean, this is obviously it's not a new 4K. It's a Walmart exclusive. But when I say that, let's see, there is other versions of this movie. Let's see. There's like some premium editions coming out of Cinemuseum, and I think they're coming out in a similar time. They're not like I think there's no date on them yet. Not sure. So there was a couple versions of this. Let's see, where was it? Here we go. There's a new tab. There's a new tab. All right. So the first one. So I actually like these a lot better, and these are premium editions. So if you're going to pick up like a nicer premium edition, I recommend you hold out for something like this. I don't know the deal on it. I just saw this when I was looking at the other one. So this right here is the one, and so Cinemuseum exclusive steelbook from Italy. Cinemuseum number 16 combo box set. No release date yet. But I would assume if it's unless there's an actual issue, I'm assuming that it's coming out soon-ish. But yeah, that looks pretty dope. But then there's another one from Cinemuseum as well. So let's see, close that out. And so this is the other one. I don't know how I feel about either of them, but if I was going to get a premium version, I would opt for this before I would get that steelbook. Let's see. Is this one? This is the other one. So then I don't know. I like that. I like that a million times more than the axe in the red steelbook. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I would definitely I would hold out for that if I were you guys, if you're into it. But the steelbook is coming, Walmart exclusive. We got that. We got that. And then March, the March indicator stuff. There's some cool box sets here that are coming in March with a lot of new 4K restorations. And so I love Indicator, big fan. I put an order in, not that often. I definitely order from them, once or twice a year, depending on if there's something I really need. But yeah, I like to, and when I do order anything from them, I put in a decent size order because I have it all shipped at once. There's that. So the Indicator stuff, we have Thirst on 4K, and it looks like you're getting the exclusive editions here, the 4K and the Blu-ray. New 4K restoration from the original camera negative by Powerhouse Films. Powerhouse is the parent company to Indicator. It's Powerhouse Indicator. And then you're getting the new 4K restoration from there on this Thirst. So Thirst 4K and the Thirst 4K Blu-ray, and then Thirst the regular version. So it's using the same stuff, region free. on the Blu-ray as well, so that's nice. It looks like. All right, let's see, wait, what was it? Yeah. Dolby Vision, HDR presentation of the film. So yeah, they're doing some good stuff there. Harlequin, I don't know anything about that one either. Those are just two things coming out, but I do love the artwork on it. So it's something that it probably makes for a great Saturday afternoon film. This is another one that I would not blind buy it. I would definitely check it out first, but really do love the artwork. I love the restorations. I love the presentation, and I love that company. So it's something that I know it doesn't get talked about a lot because there isn't a ton of films over there that are on people's must owns, but definitely check them out. If you're into, exploring cinema and checking some new things out, I highly recommend Indicator. That entire, or right behind me, this entire over there, bottom row, it's all Indicator films. And so I have a ton of them, and it's something I really, really get into. Oh, we're getting Panic Room 2 in Denmark. Yeah, there you go. Let's see. I have the Panic Room DVD 4K or 4 disc set ready to upgrade to the 4K Steelbook. I do not like the artwork though. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't like the artwork. I'm telling you, I would be happy with the Blu-ray. I think the Blu-ray, because it's going to be off that same restoration scan. I would be shocked if it wasn't, because it's been held out, and it seems like everyone's getting one. So like I said, it's not a $50 movie for me. So I'm probably not gonna import it, but that Blu-ray I would happily pick up. I would definitely happily pick up. But at the same time, there is that frustration of I would like to see the 4K. I would like to see it on the TV, and I like to, if I don't have the movie in the collection, or it's something I'm trying to get, I like to get the best version possible. But I think that one, out of spite, I'm just gonna get the Blu-ray. I think I'll be happy with it. Cinema Dave. Welcome, brother. Welcome. Hello and happy Saturday. Happy Saturday to you too, brother. Let's see. Tattoo Biker says, I need that Shining. I love it, and not just for being a fantastic film, but for the moon landing conspiracy tie-ins. In fact, I love a Kubrick collection. I said, yeah, I would love a Kubrick collection as well. Uh, yeah, big fan. And yeah, I like the whole tie-in too. I was like, I'm not a huge conspiracy guy, but I like hearing about that stuff. Like hearing about that stuff. So we got that, and then 88 Films has their announcements, and out of their entire announcements, I think I'm like really excited about this one. It's something I never saw before, and the movie could be absolute garbage, but the movie poster and like the presentation kind of sells me, and it's like seems like a gangster film, and I kind of like that, and so you have it's also like a period piece because the way they're dressed. I'm a big fan. So let me show you this. So this is one that it's Miracles with Jackie Chan is the only 88 Films one that's the release that I'm excited for, and it's called the Canton Godfather. So yeah, that's something. Huge fan of the movie poster. I like what they got going on. Oh, I thought I showed this to you already. Huge fan of this movie poster, and then yeah, it's like the whole period piece, the Canton Godfather. Come on, I'll watch that. It probably makes for a great Saturday afternoon film. And this is a big premium edition, so it has like all kinds of extra stuff. I saw a picture of it, and so there's nothing here on it, but let's see. Oh, is this it? Oh yeah, that's just the same thing. So yeah, I think it's just really sharp. Looking forward to checking that out. So it's one of the things that, man, it could be the worst movie in the entire world, but that right there just sucked me in. Sucked me in. I love it. And maybe if Jackie Chan wasn't involved, maybe I would have kind of skipped it or tried to see it on a streaming service somewhere. But yeah, Jackie Chan's there. I'll check it out. Check it out. I'm assuming also it's not his wild, crazy stunts and stuff. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be like that, but maybe it will. You never know. You never know. And then we got that going on, and then Umbrella Entertainment. So I mentioned their sales going on, the buy one get one free. Definitely check that out. But their April releases, I'm not sure if there's a ton in here that I'm interested in, but there's stuff worth talking about. There's a few things that I definitely have on my radar, some things I need to have in the collection or at least upgrade. So there is that, but not everything. So as we talked about, share this again. No, I forgot to share it again. Okay, there we go. All right, so the April releases. So we have You Should Have Been There Yesterday. I don't know what that is, but like some of these here, just kind of they're there. I might check them out. But the one that I'm really interested in, we talked about it last week, is Daybreakers. I'm going to pick up this premium edition. I love the movie. I think it's highly underrated. It's one of those things that I would love to add that to the collection. And then this one here, Black Death, I picked it up. Let's see, what is this one? We have a version. Let's see. This one here with Sean Bean. I actually picked this movie up at the thrift store, still sealed, and so it's one of those ones. My wife likes Sean Bean, so I haven't watched it yet because I was gonna wait to watch it with her. But then this got announced, and so I don't know if it's worth upgrading, but it's definitely, if it's a good movie, I mean, totally grab this version of it. But yeah, I did just recently pick this up, so I don't necessarily think I'm going to be upgrading it. But I need Daybreakers. There's that one, and then I took out the page. I don't know if there's anything else. Hold on. Let me go back. I'm a little discombobulated today. Nah, there's nothing I like. Grafted, I might check out. So there's a couple I might check out, but realistically, oh, almost closed out the entire thing. All right, there we go. So realistically, it might just be Daybreakers is what I want out of Umbrella. But then we have some things that are to be announced. They're coming early 2025, sometime in 2025. And we have, let's see, this one here from one of my favorite underrated boutique labels is Film Masters. And this one is, that's one is the new one. It's coming out. There's no official date. It just says early 2025, but the artwork is here. I haven't got an email on this one yet. But Monster from the Ocean Floor. Now this is another one. So you have uh, nobody I've heard of. Ann Kimball, Stuart Wade, Dick Piner. I don't know, but this one here, absolutely love it. And it's Roger Corman. You can't go wrong with Roger Corman. So this is one that I love the movie poster. I would love to have the original movie poster. So that one I'm going to pick up. I love a lot of those old Roger Corman films. They make great Saturday afternoon films for me. And Film Masters does one hell of a job on the restorations. Big fan, big fan. So yeah, that's one that I'm probably going to pick that one up. And then now some of those Saturday afternoon films that come out, those older ones, they really are a one and done for me, like Crippled Mastered. So I gotta get to the review on that one. I just finished watching it. It's fine. It's a fine movie. It's something that for me 100% is like a one and done. And so it's just one of those things that, you know, not all those old films are great, but I'm glad they're getting restored. I'm glad they're seeing like new eyes are getting to find this stuff finally. So yeah, that's why I love Film Masters. Great company. And then what else we got? What else we got? Now this one here, things to do in Denver while you're dead. So this is something that I'm glad it's getting 4K. Let's see, share this here. Glad this is coming out because I think this was a great film. It missed a lot of people, and it's one of those. I'm sure it definitely is a Saturday afternoon film. So this one here, it is coming out from Kino. We're getting the 4K early 2025, but then I have this version of. I don't know why I ever fixed that. Let's see. I have this version of it, so I have the imprint version. I do. I love the film. I think it's great, but it's one of those like it's not a hard watch film, but it definitely got the serious subject matter kind of thing. You got to be in the right mindset for this. But yeah, this is a perfect Saturday afternoon film, and I'm not going to upgrade. I absolutely love my version of it here, and the 1080p. I didn't notice anything crazy about it, but when I watched this, I wasn't longing for 4K on this. So I think the Blu-ray that I have is pretty good, and it's one of those things. But to be fair, I did watch it in this room on the 1080p high definition TV, so I did not watch it downstairs on the 4K. So before I make my like final decision on it, I'll probably give it another shot downstairs. But other than that, I thought the Blu-ray looked really good. But yeah, we are getting a 4K, and that's a very underrated film, I think. Got that. Let's see. What do we got? Morning Chase. Morning. Let's see. I made that profile on Blu-ray.com of Miracles. Ha ha ha. Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah, the Miracles is something I'm looking forward to. That's a good one. Chase says Black Death is pretty good. Sean Bean, Eddie Redmayne. Wish they had done a 4K of it though. Yeah, that's one of those things. That's why I was like, I don't know if I need to upgrade just to have that premium edition. It's not a 4K. I still haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting for my wife to come home from deployment, so I'm not even going to watch the film until probably like the end of April, maybe May, when she comes home. So it's one of those things that, yeah, it's like, and then that's coming out in April. It's coming out right around the same time, and it's like, what if I don't love the film? But like, it's, yeah, I probably will, but I don't think I need to upgrade. We got that, and then this is something I'm really looking forward to. But it's one of those things that we just got the Blu-ray like just a few years ago, like not long ago, like 2019, 2020. So it's been just a few years because there's so many other films. I only say that because there's so many other films that have been never been put on Blu-ray that we're now getting a 4K of this one. And so I would rather have some of those other films. So it's just my only kind of nitpick. But I'm glad they're getting this. This is going to be a day one purchase for me, and I'm really looking forward to it. So happy that this is, and it is. Let's see, what is this? Coneheads. So Coneheads is getting the 4K, and it's coming out of Kino Lorber as well, and just those old classic Saturday Night Live things. So I'm going to pick this up because there's so many of those old Saturday Night Live TV movies, like they're not TV movies, but Saturday Night Live movies that came out, especially in the 90s, that I don't even have in my collection and I haven't seen in a long time, and I would love to revisit. And so, yeah, I'll be picking this one up, hoping that there's going to be coming out with some more. A great box set would be great. Night of the Roxbury would be really fun. I haven't seen that one in years. Yeah, there's some definitely Saturday Night Live movies that were a complete miss and I wasn't a huge fan of, but there's a couple I would love to add. But yeah, this 4K I'm really looking forward to. This is going to be a day one purchase for me for sure. Let's see. Thomas says, have you picked up anything from Blu-ray for everyone? They have quite a bit, but haven't pulled the trigger on anything yet. No, I haven't either. I will have to check them out. Check them out. Patrick says, what are your top 10 films of 2024? Well, I have two videos planned for that. So I have a collaboration video I have coming out like the first week of January that's going to talk about that, and then I have another video that's coming out soon that's going to talk about that. But like top favorite, like I'll give you like my number one favorite of the year, and it would probably have to be what was it? Not that one. Do I have it here? Right here. Right here. I have it right here. Hold on. So this one right here, well, just to give you a preview of like some of the ones that I got. Let's see. So these are some of the ones that came out this year that I was really digging. So we have Trick or Treat, probably in that top 10. Nightmare on Elm Street is easily in that top 10. Death Becomes Her is in that top 10. And I'm pretty sure, did Bride of Chucky come out this year? I don't know. If Bride of Chucky came out this year, no, it didn't. This one didn't. This is over here for something else. So yeah, these three came out this year. Demolition Man came out this year. So these are probably easily in my top 10, but I haven't really sat down to figure all that out yet. But yeah, they probably, all those ones probably do. The Stardust 4K easily makes my top 10. That 4K I thought was phenomenal. Let's see. Pete Davidson. This is my absolute favorite streamer. I never miss this guy. He's the best. I hate Pete Davidson, and I hate when Pete Davidson shows up. Thank you, Pete Davidson. Thank you for the kind words. Appreciate you. Anyway, yeah, Pete Davidson always gets me. All right, so we have that. Now, the next one here is something that I'm really excited for. I have the movie. I love the movie, but it's another one that I don't necessarily. I got to revisit it soon because I watched it last year. I haven't watched it this year yet, so it's definitely one that's in my pile of non-Christmas movies that I'd like to try to get through before January. So then they announced it, and I was like, oh, I got to watch it now. So I don't recall. This is one of the ones that never made it to that list of like, these are the movies that have to get a 4K. These are the ones that like, I was like, this doesn't look as good. You know, the Blu-ray looks maybe good on my HD TV, but on my new 4K TV, the Blu-ray doesn't look as good. So I never had that thought with this one, but I am looking forward to it. It is one of my favorites. It probably doesn't make my top 25, but it's high up there. It easily probably makes my top 100 favorite films of all time. So this 4K is going to be a day one, and the art that they're showing for it, if that's what we're getting, I'll definitely, you know, I like it because what we had was not that same thing. So this one right here is something that, oh, of course they don't have the art for it. Now I got to look for that. Hold on. It says no release date, but it's coming out of Kino Lorber. So let's see. Yeah, there's no art on the Blu-ray.com. Okay, that's not it either. Let's see if I have it over here. All right. All right, here we go. I had the picture saved for my thumbnail, so here we go. So this one is something that it says early 2025 Kino Lorber. And it's Inside Man. So if that's the art that we're getting, I like it. I'm into it, and I never saw that before. So if that was the original movie poster, that's really cool. Let's see. Yeah, did I freeze? Okay, so I'm back. Yeah, so that's the original movie poster, and that's something that I think is really cool because I never saw it before. I only have that original Blu-ray, and it's a good movie. I really enjoy this, and you know I've told you before I'm a sucker for heist movies. That is a huge heist movie for me, so that's going to be a day one purchase. I just don't know when it's coming out, but Kino Lorber, for the most part, I think they do a pretty good job. So really looking forward to that. And then we have this right here. Now, this is something that I've heard of the controversy for pretty much my entire life, but I have never seen this film. I never really, not that I didn't have a desire to, but for me, 100%, I think this is a Saturday afternoon film. This is something you got nothing else to watch. It's on TV. You might, you know, check it out to give it a laugh or whatever. But I've heard all kinds of things. I've heard that it's a cult classic. I've heard that it's offensive, and I've heard that it's just laughably bad. So this is something that I'm interested in for all those reasons, but I've completely missed it for pretty much my entire life. But I think I remember the first time I ever heard about this was I was probably like early, like a little kid, like 6, 7, 8. Like I remember because like the people were making fun of it. Let's see, and it is the Conqueror. So this is the one, right? This is the one where he plays the Mongolian. He plays Genghis Khan or something. Isn't this the one? I think this is it. Yeah, Mongol chief. Yeah. So yeah, that's the one that I've heard about my entire life, and I've never seen it. I don't think it's a day one purchase, but it's intriguing. Again, I'm glad they're restoring this stuff. But yeah, February 2025. It might be worth checking out. But this is also one that when Kino Lorber does their sales of, you know, while supplies last or their $5, $6 sale, that's when I would probably grab that one, pull the trigger. It's not a day one for me just because I remember watching the trailer on it. It just was never one that I was trying to get to 20 years ago. So now I'm not gonna jump on it, but I would definitely for the $5, $6 price, I would 100% grab this one. And I know that's not what people want to hear, especially I don't think that's what studios want to hear when they're putting this stuff out. But yeah, $5, $6, I'll pick it up then. Let's see. Pete David says, I like your hoodie, even though Die Hard isn't a Christmas movie. Oh, oh, but it is. It is. Thank you for the hoodie. Let's see. What do we got? RC Mouse says, saw Hundreds of Beavers is sold out on Vinegar Syndrome. Looking forward to those commentary tracks. Yeah, that's something that's going to be interesting. I didn't grab that one. I went to go get it and it was all sold out. I like the artwork on it. Inside Man is underrated. Oh yeah, I think 100% is underrated. And Pete Davidson says John Wayne is probably the only man with better movies than me. All right, Pete Davidson. All right, all right. Yeah, and so you missed this earlier, Pete. So Die Hard is a Christmas movie. So I got that shirt as well. So yeah, there's that. We covered everything. We've gone for an hour and a half, which isn't bad. It wasn't bad. We didn't really get started into the movies until or the new releases until like an hour into the show. But yeah, I had a good time today. I had a good time today. Uh, Chase says Die Hard 100% is a Christmas movie. Yeah, it's they mentioned Christmas like 18 times in the film. Like you can't, there's, and the thing is like I get where people are saying that it's not like a good, warm, fuzzy family thing like Home Alone or something like that. But when you break down like Home Alone is a crime movie. There's two criminals that are breaking into homes, and this kid fends off his thing. Where's the family love in that? Like the family's in another country trying to get their lost kid that they didn't care about in the first place to remember to bring him along. So you can break it down if you try to break down other movies. So for me, I mean, I love Home Alone, so I'm not knocking that film at all. But I was like, at the core of it, it's just a heist film. This one takes place on Christmas Eve, the Christmas party. I mean, there's 100 million people have argued that it is. So it's just one of those things. I just always think it's funny when people don't don't see it. But yeah, last movie standing. Brian, morning, sunshine. Just woke up. Yeah, morning. And test one, Die Harder. Yes. I like and I just watched Die Hard 2 last night, so like that's a good one. Or not last night, the night before, whatever. So yeah, it's a good one. I like that one. Thomas says, see you next week, brother. You've been killing it this month. Yeah, thanks, brother. Thanks, brother. Yeah, we're gonna end it. We're gonna thanks for everybody for hanging out, staying as long as you did. And we'll catch you next week. But yes, thank you. All the memberships are live. We got more stuff coming. I have some members only videos coming this week. And that's here on YouTube, but I am starting the membership because I said I wasn't going to do the Patreon, and I showed that off on the store. So the store memberships, you get there's a free version of it, and I don't know what benefits you get with the free version other than seeing some of the stuff. But then there's different tiers, and the different tiers you get free merch or discounts on merch, and each one has different things, so they're all there. But then there's going to be video specific that I can't maybe necessarily do here on YouTube, and so we're going to do that. And then with the two different memberships, I know that there's some people that just like what they like. So if you do the YouTube membership stuff and you like that and you don't want to try anything new, totally get it. That's why I'm going to still offer both. But there's going to be a lot of crossover. There's going to be a lot of the same videos, but then I will do specific posts or specific things for people that might want to do both. And so because there's $1 membership and stuff like that, so all that stuff's there. The shirts are live. Like I said, I'm going to keep the stuff up because anything after today, if you're trying to get it for Christmas, all the Christmas stuff is pretty much, you're not going to get it in time for Christmas. So if you want all the Christmas shirts, the Die Hard stuff, that's going to stay until forever. We're just going to leave it up. If you want to buy it in July, you can. But yeah, with that, we're going to wrap it up unless you guys have any last minute questions. Let's see. Let me double check this. Got that. Much love, brother. See you next week and chat. Great hanging out. Yeah. Got that. And then what we got? Pete Davidson. I used to stream with this guy. I love him. I don't love Pete Davidson. I don't. But thanks everybody for being here. Remember to watch a movie today, and I'll catch you guys next time.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Oh, don't give me a pat. That's fine.